guard, and Andrew Wiggins locked him up. Look for that today if Harris gets hot early.
Starting five for the Kansas Jayhawks, and yes, it will be the second game without Joel Embiid. The freshman 7-footer will be reevaluated tomorrow, so that means Tarik Black once again in the starting lineup, along with Tharp, Selden, Wiggins, and Perry Ellis. For the West Virginia Mountaineers, they've been without Terry Henderson since February 15. We could see Henderson today, but he's not in the starting five. It's Staten Harris, Debo Devin Williams, and Nathan Adrian. This is just the fourth all-time meeting between Kansas and West Virginia. Kansas has won the first three. All those have been Big 12 matchups since West Virginia joined the Big 12. Bill Self, now in his 11th season coaching Kansas, and regarding the 1 seed, he said, yeah, it's more important matchups and how you're playing in March, but honestly, quote, it'd be pretty cool to get that 1 seed in the NCAA tournament. Bob Huggins, 739 wins in his career, none of them against Kansas. 0-7 all-time against the Jayhawks, none of them against Bill Self either. More on that later.
Carter, important early for West Virginia. We talked about Aaron Harris in the open. For him to get open off some screens, and Bob Huggins said he needs to execute better in his sets. They're going to run a lot of plays for him, but sometimes he doesn't run the plays hard enough. Oklahoma did a nice job against him defensively, but they really need him to be their secondary scorer this afternoon.
Kansas versus West Virginia to get your college basketball Saturday started. Tharp attacks but misses short, and a foul called already as Nadir Tharp passes.
Kansas foul ball number 25.
And the foul's on Tarik Black is first. Now that Tarik Black is starting in place of the injured Joel Embiid, so Kansas needs Tarik Black to stay on the floor.
Well, Bob Huggins in his typical self. There was no feeling sorry for Kansas without Joel Embiid. They've got a bunch of all-Americans to back him up, and Black was outstanding in his start the other night against Texas Tech.
Nathan Adrian trying to back in. 9 to shoot. First possession for West Virginia. Remy Debo is going to give it back to Juwan Staten. The junior from Dayton off the dribble. And there's the outstanding Juwan Staten getting to the rim.
Well, that's what he does, but you'll get there a lot easier without the big fella Embiid in the game or present on the bench.
First turnover for Kansas. Jayhawks get it right back.
Embiid doesn't block every shot, but he certainly protects the rim like no other. And Staten certainly feels much more comfortable with this opportunity as they space the floor with his left hand. The game plan is to force him to his right, but I'm not sure you can take away either hand and feel very comfortable against Juwan Staten. He's that good.
Nathan Adrian gets the foul as Andrew Wiggins attacks. Wiggins will reset for Kansas on to Nadir Tharp, the junior from Worcester, Mass. Selden. Wayne Selden knocks down the three.
Selden for 3.
Selden is a streak shooter, and if you give him any space, and on that possession, Adrian just gave him a little bit too much room on the perimeter.
So here's Juwan Staten, who leads West Virginia in just about everything, including assists, and give him another one. There's Aaron Harris.
Well, the big fella, the big hugs on the sideline doesn't smile too much, but his inner self has a little small smile, knowing that's an important piece of today's offense.
Perry Ellis on the baseline.
West Virginia has got to get a lot more support down low because Ellis is carving out space right at the rim, and they've got to protect that area, maybe send a trap down to the box.
Here's Harris off the screen. On to Adrian. Back-to-back threes for West Virginia. Nathan Adrian knocks it down.
This is a summer league game right now. Not much defense. Everybody feeling very comfortable on the offensive end.
Into Ellis again. Perry Ellis, back-to-back buckets for Kansas.
Well, that's just way too easy. Remy Debo's got to do a much better job of defending before the catch and moving his feet. Ellis is just burying him at the rim.
West Virginia 3 for 3 shooting to start, including the back-to-back threes. Harris faces up. First miss, but there's an offensive rebound, and Williams is fouled. That's the second on Tarik Black. So just over 3 minutes in, Tarik Black has 2 for the Jayhawks. Well, the word on Joel Embiid, asked Bill Self, is he definitely back for the Big 12 tournament? He said not definitely. Reevaluated tomorrow on Sunday. Joel Embiid did not make the trip from Lawrence, Kansas to Morgantown, West Virginia, nursing the sore back.
Well, as we all know, backs are very tricky, so you've got to be unbelievably cautious. And he played in a lot of pain in the second half of that Oklahoma State loss. And he was banged up and reportedly had trouble just walking out to the bus and getting on the plane. So this is a very smart move on their part. It's day to day, but I would expect him back at some point next weekend.
Important correction on that last foul. It was not given to Tarik Black. It was given to Perry Ellis. So Ellis has 1, Black has 1.
Ellis not only got the foul, he got a pasting on the sideline from Bill Self for not blocking out on the possession.
Meanwhile, for West Virginia, Terry Henderson is into the game. Number 15 for the Mountaineers. First action since February 15. He's been out with an illness that West Virginia has not disclosed. Wiggins down the baseline. There's Andrew Wiggins attacking.
Wiggins with his right hand, Carter, on the wing as he attacks the baseline. That help has to come much sooner and meet him outside the lane. He's not a good passer. He's going to score.
Aaron Harris on the wing. Takes it right at Wiggins. Missing around the 6'8 freshman Andrew Wiggins. Selden stepped on the baseline. Turnover, Kansas.
That's when Bill Self just shakes his head because this team is so highly efficient, sometimes offensively, and then sometimes they're not. But here you'll see Wiggins with his right hand. This is where he wants to go. He'll lean you one way and then the crossover, but the help comes way late. It meets him at the rim. It's got to meet him outside the lane. He's got a negative assist-to-turnover ratio. He's going to score.
Staden lost it out of bounds. It was touched by Nadir Tharp. So West Virginia hangs on.
But that's easier said than done. You meet him outside the lane, and he just rises up and shoots over you. He's so good. What you really have to do is make it tough for him on the catch. Make him catch it a little bit farther out beyond the three-point line where he's not as much of a threat. He's a streak shooter from the perimeter. Solid, but he's better going to the rim.
Devin Williams off the shot fake, drives, and a foul called. It is on Tarik Black. That's his second. Andrew Wiggins, one of the finalists for the Wooden Award, but is he the Big 12 Player of the Year?
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by 5 Hour Energy. Focus is the feeling of clarity and alertness. It's the feeling you get.
Backing of his ball handling skills at times. He's a little loose with the basketball. He'll have some turnovers as he did in the Oklahoma State game. But listen, he has been solid all year. With everything that's been put on his shoulders, and you add that into the mix, he's the Big 12 Player of the Year.
Now you look at the freshman scoring, and actually when you do it by the numbers, McLemore, the all-time record, that was obviously set last year, breaking Danny Manning's incredible freshman season. Andrew Wiggins right now has 481 points. No, 483 now, 483. That is 13 points shy of what Danny Manning did in his freshman year.
Well, Melvin Ejim is clearly very worthy as well to be in the discussion along with his teammate DeAndre Kane at Iowa State. And this guy out on the floor right here that we see, number 3 in gold, has to be in the discussion. Jawan State plays 38 minutes a game, and everything is on his shoulders. And an outstanding guard for West Virginia.
If Ejim and Wiggins are both first team all Big 12, that'd mean 40% of the honors of the league go to Canadians. Kansas has made 4 straight field goals, but it's West Virginia with an 11-9 lead. Tarik Black is on the bench for Kansas. So an early appearance for Landon Lucas, the redshirt freshman from Portland, Oregon.
Bill Self already a little cranky here before even the 1 o'clock hour Eastern time with the officials. Not happy with that last call on Tarik Black as West Virginia just kind of drove to the rim, and it looked like kind of a call that was made up.
Selden was going out of bounds, tried to save it, Another Kansas turnover. West Virginia on the run with a 2-point lead. Staten nearly lost it. Adrian needs help. It's Harris, Wiggins guarding him. So Harris gives it up. Devin Williams. A 4-point lead early for West Virginia on 8th-ranked Kansas.
Nice. You can see their scheme. There's space in the court. Drive and kick.
Wiggins' second bucket.
Basket by Wiggins.
Big trouble for West Virginia. They've got to do a better job of denying him the ball on the wing.
Williams power dribble, takes it right at Lucas and draws a foul on Lucas.
Well, we talked about Remy Debo playing defense before the catch and on Perry Ellis, but on that possession, Landon Lucas just did not defend on the box. Devin Williams just powered and carved and lowered the shoulder and said, "Excuse me, freshman to freshman, I've got this spot."
Devin Williams has scored the last 6 for West Virginia. 7 in the game. Make it 8 for the freshman from Cincinnati, who has double-doubles in each of his last 2 games, 7 of them on the year, and a hot start for Devin Williams in West Virginia.
Terry Henderson in the game. He hasn't practiced much. He's missed the last 3 games. He's lost about 18 pounds, gained 6 back. West Virginia's going to give him a go today.
Foul on the entry. That's called on Nathan Adrian.
Foul is called on West Virginia's Nathan Adrian.
So Henderson, the sophomore, who's averaging 12 points per game, but again hasn't played since February 15th. He made the trip midweek, limited practice this week. So how big of an addition is Terry Henderson coming back for West Virginia?
Well, he is huge because he is a lockdown, knockdown 3-point shooter. Just put him on the floor with Harris and Staten, and you've got 3 real capable scorers, but he has not practiced more than 30 minutes in the last week. He hasn't gone up and down the floor, but sometimes the adrenaline can give you an extra push.
Harris
especially when you're playing
blocked
Kansas.
by Wiggins. Williams falls off the block from Andrew Wiggins into the hands of Devin Williams. He has led the charge. West Virginia by 7. Timeout, Kansas.
Chili's lunch combo starting at just $6. Try our delicious new Fresh Mex bowls with Chipotle or Margarita chicken, all served with a bowl of soup like our new Southwest chicken. Chili's lunch combo starting at $6. More life happens here.
This is Jane. Her long day on set starts with shoulder pain and a choice.
Take 6 Tylenol a day, or just 2 Aleve for all-day relief.
Roll sound. Action.
Carter, right out of the gate, you see West Virginia more aggressive, just looking to secure the rebound, and Kansas running out before they get possession, and Devin Williams throwing his body around on the box and at the rim.
That is 10 straight for Devin Williams, the freshman from Cincinnati. It's been his senior year at Montverde, Florida. He has been solid at the end of his freshman year, but a tremendous start. That's 10 points in the first 6 minutes against Kansas. Wiggins nearly walked. Gets it back to Frank Mason. Mason down the baseline. Finds Traylor, met at the rim by Debo. Jawan Staten on the run, bumped, and Staten's headed to the free throw line.
Bob Huggins' shoulder is going to pop out over on the bench because he wants to on that run to the rim by Staten, and this is where he is at his best. You give him a little space in the weak side, but first, West Virginia, great help side defense. They build the wall at the rim, and then off to the races, the little shove and the block at the rim. No hoop, but Staten, what he does best, get to the free throw line.
So what is West Virginia doing so well to jump out to what is now a 7-point lead on
Right now,
Kansas?
it's just playing with a little bit more energy on the defensive end. They knocked in a couple of shots, Carter, so now Kansas had to extend, which has opened up the middle of the floor. They've gone inside to Williams, and they've gained confidence with their defensive help. Weak side rotations have been quick and active.
Staten misses them both, so still a 7-point lead. Ellis nearly turns it over again. Turnovers on the road have been the problem for Kansas, especially in the losses at Florida and last weekend against Oklahoma State.
Don't discount the presence of a good player back in the lineup. Even if he doesn't give you a lot of quality, just his presence on the floor, Henderson, could mean something for West Virginia.
Ellis ends a 9-2 run. Mountaineers attack again. That is Henderson on the baseline. It's Wiggins on Henderson now. On to Remy Debo. Staten slips all the way in. Jawan Staten.
West Virginia really spacing the floor. That possession, they had 5 players outside the three-point line.
Staten then called for a foul as Wiggins gets past it.
If you give Jawan Staten this much space, he is basically unguardable. And they space the floor. They've got 5 guys outside the three-point line. A little dribble handoff. He changes direction, doesn't use the screen, and there's no help side because Kansas is just spaced too wide on the weak side.
Number 34, Kevin Noreen.
5 fouls on Kansas, 4 on West Virginia. Trouble getting it in bounds. Mason just does get it into Selden. Trapped on the baseline. Trailer there to help him out. All the way out to Wiggins, who takes an inadvertent, apparently, elbow from Aaron Harris. After tight D off the baseline inbounds from West Virginia. That's the first on Harris.
Well, you never want to commit a foul at midcourt, but when Kansas is running their offense going south to north, that's a good sign for West Virginia. They're not attacking the rim. They're just trying to get the ball to someone in the same color jersey.
Ellis. Wiggins there for the board. How about a third chance? Tapped out, Ellis grabs it. Harry Ellis right back up with it. On the tip drill, Wiggins finally gets it to go. Andrew Wiggins on the offensive glass to cut it to 5.
That's been an issue for West Virginia in conference. -3 on the glass, and Kansas always strong, +9 on the season.
Staten long two, Jawan Staten. Did we say he was Mr. Do Everything for West Virginia?
West Virginia's on about a 95-point pace right now. They've got some rhythm on offense.
Wiggins, that's going to be a held ball. Possession arrow will give it back to West Virginia.
Possession arrow to the Mountaineers.
Brennan Noreen for the tie-up.
Gary Brown and Devin Williams check in for the Mountaineers.
Well, this is just a mirror, total opposite of the first matchup in Lawrence, where Kansas just pounded them in the paint 48-18, and West Virginia is spacing the court, and they're going inside because they know the big fella is back home watching on television, and there is nobody at the rim to protect for Kansas.
Staten off the screen, misses at the rim. Brandon Green has the rebound. Into the corner for Green. Entry to Traylor. Jamari Traylor.
Basket by Traylor.
Kansas really never has gotten settled in their offense. They like to run the high-low stuff, but they seem sped up just because of West Virginia's energy and their toughness with their defense and their quick rotations and activity with their hands.
Harris. Fouled! Count the bucket, says Mark Whitehead. Aaron Harris and West Virginia have come to play against the Jayhawks. A 7-point lead in Morgantown.
Arby's Reuben sandwich looks delicious, but is it as craveable as an authentic New York Reuben? Arby's Reuben sandwich would go toe-to-toe with yours.
Get out of here.
Get out of here. Get out of here. That's a good Reuben, right?
They're themselves in 2000, right? They don't look alike. Bill Self.
No, right,
Bob
exactly.
Huggins.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Aaron Harris.
Roder Blackburn, Tim Wells.
Their winning
from,
percentages look alike, that's for sure.
Bob Huggins, 16th now on the all-time wins list. The amazing stat for Bill Self. Kansas fans are familiar with it, but more conference titles than home losses in a decade plus with the Jayhawks. Truly stunning. That string of 10 straight Big 12 titles is now 3rd all-time behind UCLA and Gonzaga as far as consecutive regular season conference titles. But Kansas trails West Virginia by 8 in the early going.
Kansas just can't seem to get into any offensive rhythm. I mean, they will push the ball, they'll run, they'll attack when they have it, and they'll shoot quick sometimes. But most of the time, they like to run their stuff, change sides of the floor, get into their high-low game, or run some pick-and-roll stuff on the perimeter. But right now, they're sped up, and they don't seem comfortable at all. It seems West Virginia is pushing them to spots they don't want to be in offensively.
Nadir Thorpe misses the three, and a rebound for Williams in West Virginia. Quick outlet, Staten pushing. Jawan Staten draws another foul. That one's on Green.
Well, this is almost unfair when you put a big fella trying to guard one of the elite guards, and here Brandon Green just saying, I'm trying to keep you, stay in front of you, but you change one way, go back the other, and it's almost like you're spinning and your head's at top. It's just spinning around because the change of direction in the body control for Staten is very unique in the fact that he gets to the free throw line. He has that mid-range game, but can't shoot three. He's not really a good three-point shooter, but if you lay off him, it just makes him better because it gives him more space to create angles.
And the Big Ten 6 Eastern, it's Michigan against Indiana. Then at 9, North Carolina versus Duke. That's Saturday primetime presented by DirecTV. A 10-point West Virginia lead on 8th-ranked Kansas. And foul trouble for the Jayhawks. West Virginia's already in the bonus. Black is sitting with 2. Landon Lucas has 2. So more pressure on the rest of the Jayhawks to step it up.
Well, it's not an equal opportunity situation here for Kansas, and that's Andrew Wiggins has to be more dominant right now. They need him to be more aggressive like he was on that last possession.
Answer, however, from Devin Williams. A red-hot Devin Williams. 12 points to go along with 4 rebounds in the first 10 plus.
Mark Phil is just letting him catch the ball wherever he wants to go, though, right around the rim.
Ellis, the answer inside for Kansas, and a foul on Remy Debo.
Ellis called on Remy Debo, his first.
Well, the 2 guys that can do it are Wiggins and Ellis. And Ellis some nights will be aggressive like this. A lot of times he operates from the high post when Embiid is in the lineup. Today he's trying to do his work around the basket, and he's got the experience and length and ability to score. And he's just keep working, and they need to keep looking for him on that spot.
Sophomore from Wichita now has 9, meaning 17 of Kansas' 22 have come from Andrew Wiggins and Perry Ellis. Staten on the wing. Noreen covered up, picks up his dribble. Williams, Staten, back cut, fouled at the rim. Jamari Traylor commits the foul as Staten cuts to the rim yet again.
Well, West Virginia runs a pattern motion, a lot of cuts through the middle of the defense, basket cuts, and they wait for you to make a mistake, and their bigs can pass the ball in here. Just when you turn your head, Staten sees that opportunity at the rim. Nice delivery as well from the big fella Williams.
Staten, who spent his freshman year at Dayton playing for Brian Gregory, leads West Virginia. Scoring, assists, field goal percentage, steals, and he is the only West Virginia starter who has not fouled out of a game this year.
And he plays 38 minutes a game.
Bob Cousy Award finalist. 1 of 2 here. Ellis at the top, guarded by Devin Williams. Ellis attacks again, draws 2 defenders, blocked inside by Noreen. Traylor tracks it down. Out to Wiggins. Andrew Wiggins down the lane, fouled, and takes a tough tumble into the first row of West Virginia fans.
West Virginia foul call number 34.
Well, gliding to the rim is what Andrew Wiggins does best, and here with the right hand coming to the middle of the lane, West Virginia has to step up way sooner, or else when he gets that little angle in the middle of the paint, he's pretty unstoppable.
So the projection for Kansas right now, if they can get that #1 seed, they'd be a #1 in the East. Wichita State projected to be a #1 in the Midwest, which means Andrew and older brother Nick would be together in St. Louis for the first weekend of the NCAA tournament, if those bracketology projections hold.
Good news for mom and dad, and Greg Marshall and Bill Self can get together and discuss maybe future scheduling. That's been an issue that they talk about.
Yes, indeed. Devin Williams straight ahead.
Well, Devin Williams has been all over the court, mostly in the lane, but passing and also now the jumper.
Mason turns it over. Staten drops it off. How about the block at the rim from Wiggins? West Virginia hangs on. Staten crosses over on Green. Aaron Harris, a step on Wiggins, but he lost it last touched by Kansas, so the Mountaineers keep it.
Aaron Harris has to be careful. The crowded space out there in West Virginia, for the most part, this afternoon has done a nice job of being patient and not forcing the opportunity until Kansas makes a mistake.
14 in the game for Williams. Make it 16. And another Kansas timeout. Devin Williams wide open on the baseline. West Virginia by 11 on Kansas.
Confidence is just growing from the young freshman from Cincinnati, and West Virginia has been an up and down team. They've showed parts of this middle of the conference where they could compete with everybody, especially that win against Iowa State, and you have a great win against Oklahoma, Kansas State, Baylor, and got some work to do.
That's a resume on a team on the outside looking into the NCAA tournament, so it would take an awful lot for West Virginia, namely a win or two against Kansas if they meet in St. Louis in the Big 12 tournament. But Devin Williams has staked West Virginia to a double-digit lead. Solid start for the big man.
Well, the thing is that he's done it from all spots on the floor. He's been very good defensively, but the cleanup man in the lane, he's got the ability to knock down that shot. We just saw him knock down the baseline shot, but also the point-blank delivery on the backdoor cut to Staten. 7 double-doubles. He's used his body well and playing with tremendous confidence against Kansas front line.
Double-doubles in the last 2 games for Williams. It's the most he's scored since non-conference against Purdue back in December. Zeldin follows the miss. Loose ball. Wiggins hangs on, but he touched the sideline. Devin Williams, the freshman from Cincinnati, leading an all-out assault on the Jayhawks. Who, of course, guided Kansas to a national championship in 1988. But it's Bob Huggins and the West Virginia Mountaineers with an 11-point lead on 8th-ranked Kansas.
Well, interesting to see, Carter, if Bob Huggins goes right at Tarek Black, because he's back in the game with 2 fouls, and Devin Williams is clearly the man of the hour.
There's Brown. Williams calls for it right at Tarek Black. Williams gives it up. Staten with Wiggins on him. So Aaron Harris flips it out. Off the shot fake, Gary Brown, tough 2. And a rebound for Ellis. So 1 touch on the possession for Williams, and that's it.
They did a better job of not letting him establish any position in the paint.
Zeldin, second made 3 of the game for the freshman from Massachusetts.
Noreen got caught on Zeldin, and he just flat-footed on the closeout.
Here's Williams, gives it up again. Staten off the screen. Wiggins recovers to get another block shot. And now Andrew Wiggins in transition all the way to the rim. Andrew Wiggins. A block shot. He goes coast to coast and finishes it off with a dunk. But then on the other end, Andrew Wiggins reaches in for a foul.
Jawan Staten got a little frustrated here and spends a little time turning to the official while Andrew Wiggins just runs by him. And he's got to run back on defense no matter what, if the call was good or bad. But Staten says, I'm coming right back at you, and I'll get to the line.
So that's 2 for Staten.
I would have to say that doesn't happen very often. I have not seen every minute of every West Virginia game, but I don't think that Jawan Staten, he very rarely gets his shot blocked. So he was more stunned than anything. He said, that's got to be a foul. But very rarely, I'm sure, that he's guarded by a 6'8", long, fast, quick athlete like Andrew Wiggins.
Into Black. Guarded by Williams. Tarik Black. Williams boards it. Staten pushing again.
West Virginia's defense has been outstanding. Just a pop in their step today.
Harris behind the screen. Aaron Harris knocks down the 3.
Just a lot more energy from top to bottom for West Virginia, starting with Aaron Harris. He kind of played a sluggish game in Norman the other night. Couldn't get this look very easily. The timing was off coming off the screens. He wasn't cutting hard, but today he just needs a little bit of space and clearing, and that rainbow jumper.
Off a season low 5 points at Oklahoma on Wednesday. Harris already has 9 in this one. Offensive rebound, Selden couldn't get it. And an over the back call. That foul is on Wiggins. Well, tomorrow, the NBA's MVP frontrunners, NBA Sunday Showcase. First at 1 Eastern, it's LeBron and the Heat against the Bulls. And then at 3:30 Eastern time, Kevin Durant against the Lakers. It all begins with NBA Countdown, 12:30, presented by Speed Stick Gear.
People smile when they get to play the Lakers now. Offensive numbers will be flying.
So maybe a chance for KD to bolster the MVP credentials against the Lakers.
First in wins when you have the ball against the Lakers. Russell Westbrook saying, I might get 40.
Staten gets them both. West Virginia by 12 on Kansas. Selden, that's a tie-up. Possession arrow will keep it with Kansas.
Kansas is trying to get into their high-low game and attack from the wing and maybe get into the box, but they're running a lot of dribble handoffs on the perimeter, some exchanges, and West Virginia is switching everything. They've got the 3 guards in the lineup and doing a good job of staying in position and communicating and rotating quickly.
Wiggins, and Williams draws a foul before the block. Watkins got a block, but fouls on the floor on Williams.
Andrew Wiggins, if Kansas is going to get back in this game, this is what he has to do. He has to be a little selfish now. He's got to attack when he can. He's got to move without the ball. They've got to look for him, and then when he gets it, West Virginia does not have an answer for him if they space the floor and he drives the lane or from the baseline.
Wiggins gets them both. So despite Andrew Wiggins' 13 points in the first, not even 15 minutes, Kansas down by 10 with Joel Embiid back in Lawrence. Terry Henderson. Good rebound from Traylor.
Bob Huggins feeling confident that Henderson can stay in the game. His conditioning looks pretty solid.
Jamari Traylor finds Black, misses at the rim. Second chance, he misses the dunk. Tarik Black, 2 misses at the rim. Traylor hustles to swat Jawan Staten on the alley-oop. I mean, off the backboard, Jamari Traylor swats it.
You better have had a big breakfast to play in this game today, because this is big boy basketball at the rim. you are going to get resisted, and there is flying bodies, arms, legs, and athletes to provide the defense.
Back-to-back misses at the rim by Tarik Black, including the dunk, and then a swat by Jamari Traylor to keep West Virginia from scoring in transition. Staten with 10 to shoot. Devin Williams in the corner, 5 to shoot. Staten on Wiggins. Staten crosses over, floats it high off the glass, around Wiggins with Traylor coming for another block. Juwan Staten somehow finishes. West Virginia by 12.
It looked like they had him corralled. It looked like they had him contested. It looked like they had him contained, but no thank you. He said, I'm too crafty, I'm too slippery, and I could some way, somehow find a little crack in this defense. Okay, I'm gonna back up, and here's the whole defense coming at me. I'll just get it up there on the rim and sneak it in. That's what scorers do, Carter. Whew.
Staten gets a brief rest ahead of the under 4 timeout. Selden, that's how you finish. After the missed dunk from Black the last time down, Wayne Selden flexes the guns at the rim.
Kansas not wasting any time. I think this is what they have to do, space the floor and attack the rim, knowing West Virginia does not have a big-time shot blocker, especially with the 3 guards in the game.
Harris fouled on the floor.
A lot of activity, most of it at the rim, and this guy, the little guy, plays big on both nights, getting to the free throw line and finishing. And then the guard from Roxbury. This is what we do. We finish hard.
And there's the franchise.
For Kansas and West Virginia. Kansas playing for a potential 1 seed in the NCAA tournament. Would be the 6th time in 7 years they've been a 1. West Virginia's on the outside looking in. When we're done here, another big win of the Big 12 with Oklahoma State trying for its 5th straight win against Iowa State. First time they met, triple overtime. Then Missouri, Tennessee, both teams on the bubble. And then, of course, North Carolina, Duke, 9 o'clock Eastern time tonight on ESPN.
And who could forget the first Oklahoma State-Iowa State game, the triple overtime thriller. And I don't think either team wants to do that heading into next week and in Kansas City. But Travis Ford's got his team playing well. Phil Forte and Marcus Smart were just outstanding in the second half in their win over Kansas State earlier this week.
Since that 3-game suspension for Marcus Smart after the ugly incident in Lubbock, Oklahoma State has won all 4 games since Marcus Smart has come back. He's been on a tear.
Well, they beat these Kansas Jayhawks as well, where Kansas just got out of rhythm in the second half offensively. But tonight, this afternoon, it's been Kansas defense that has been lacking. West Virginia shooting over 60%.
Rankamp in the corner, misses the wide open 3, and somewhere in there a foul spotted by Mark Whitehead.
Foul is called on West Virginia's number 3, Juwan Staten.
It's on Juwan Staten. That's the second on Juwan Staten, who got a very brief rest during the under 4 timeout. So Wiggins back at the free throw line.
Well, Bill Self's been unhappy with the free throw differential at this point, 16-5. But Kansas needs to keep being aggressive. They got a couple calls in the last few possessions, and Traylor and Black are a low down low. They need to keep looking for them and let Wiggins attack. And we saw what happened when Selden attacks the rim.
15 for Andrew Wiggins. 5 of them from the free throw line. A single-digit lead, West Virginia on Kansas. 3:10 to go in the first half. Gary Brown off the handoff from Devin Williams. Staten again guarded by Wiggins. 10 to shoot. Staten gets 2 screens, switch off, Traylor on Staten, 3 to shoot. Staten turns it over late in the clock. Kansas on the run. Rankamp finds a trailing Andrew White, who dribbled it off his foot for the 6th Kansas turnover of the first half.
Well, White turned it over, but Rankamp should have never given him the ball there. There's nothing he could have done with that. Pull it out and get a good offensive possession. Go to your go-to guys. Andrew Wiggins, don't go to Don't go to White. There's no reason to give him the ball. He's just in the game to play some defense and give your perimeter guys a little bit of a breather.
Staten, entry pass into Brown on the block. Another block for Andrew Wiggins. That's 3 in the game for Wiggins.
Well, Kansas has done a better job defensively. Give Bill Self credit. He went back with Tarek Black with 2 fouls, and I agree with that move. You got to trust your players to be able to play with 2 fouls in the first half, and he's done a real good job on Williams since he's come back in the game.
Shot clock winding down again. 9 to shoot. Staten, Ellis gets the switch out. So it's Staten against Ellis. Into the paint. Out of bounds again. There's just 2 seconds to shoot. And now a discussion as to who touched it last. It'll be Kansas basketball. So off West Virginia, Kansas ball, 2:10 to go in the half.
They closed the door on Staten pretty well, and that's the correct call. He lost the ball on his own. Mark Whitehead came in, had the better angle.
Frankamp, the freshman from Wichita's North High School. Kansas weaves it around to Wiggins. Frankamp off the shot fake. Elbow J. Over the back. Our journey to the tourney matchup tonight, 9 o'clock Eastern time from Cameron Indoor Stadium. It's North Carolina versus Duke. A 32-game home winning streak for the Blue Devils at Cameron Indoor.
How about the 17-0 run by Wake Forest to clip the Blue Devils, and Marcus Page with the big block to save the day against Notre Dame. But all of that's forgot. It's that pass. When they tee it up tonight, it doesn't matter what they did in their last game. And Carolina can get a 2 seed with a win, and maybe a lot if Syracuse doesn't get the job done at Florida State. So these teams are still working for positioning, but not positioning tonight. It's just enemy turf in Durham.
That 32-game home win streak by Duke right now tied with Stephen F. Austin out of the Southland Conference for longest in the nation. The Lumberjacks and the Blue Devils 0 for 2 at the free throw line. Watkins, there's a stoppage as there's a blood on Jawan Staten. So immediate stoppage at the 1:53 mark. So that means Staten is going to have to take an unwanted rest for West Virginia for the time being.
And the last possession, Bill Self was upset with Connor Frankamp. And first Frankamp with the poor decision in transition, and a little weave there running out front. He just tried to take the ball off the bounce and take a jump shot. They need to work the ball inside, look for Ellis, and let Wiggins try to attack as well.
Wiggins turns it over. Aaron Harris behind the back. Henderson finishes. Welcome back, Terry Henderson.
He hasn't run up and down the floor hardly at all in the last 3 to 4 weeks, but that time he saw the rim and said, I know how to score.
Wiggins stripped again. Back-to-back turnovers by Andrew Wiggins. Harris pulls up. It is all West Virginia. A 14-point edge on the Jayhawks.
Well, the scouting report on Andrew Wiggins is when he attacks on the second dribble, try to close the door, force him to his left, he is not a good passer. Most of the time, he is going to look to score, and if you close the door before he gets into his shot motion, you can create some turnovers. And again, at the rim, West Virginia doing a good job of rotating and getting in front of him before he gets into his motion. West Virginia, their defense has just been outstanding. In the second half of the Oklahoma game, they had dead legs, and they weren't attacking Oklahoma. Today, they came out offensively with a lot of confidence, which gave them a little bit more of a pop in their step defensively, but they have a good game plan as well.
So if you're Kansas right now, down 14 on the road against West Virginia, how do you get it right?
They've got to slow down on offense. It seems like they're sped up. You know, their defense has been better, like we said, in the last 7 or 8 minutes since Black came in the game and started guarding Williams. But right now, it's their offense that has been a problem. Quick shots, tight, not good spacing. Bill Self's had to use 3 timeouts in the first half. I would have to believe that hasn't happened all season long.
This is already the most points Kansas has given up in the first half this season. Ellis on the second attempt is fouled.
West Virginia foul was called number 20, Brandon Watkins.
That's on Watkins.
First personal, 10 team foul.
Both teams are in the double bonus.
Perry Ellis with 2 shots.
The most allowed this season. The previous high was a 44 against Oklahoma.
Well, Bill Self clearly is upset with his point guard. He's got both Amir Tharp and Frank Mason sitting next to him. So he's just searching right now for any type of rhythm or chemistry on the offensive end of the floor. He's basically emptied the bench. He's gone right to the end of the bullpen looking for some answers out there against West Virginia.
Ellis gets them both. Mountaineers by 12. Staten around the screen, kicks it back out to Harris. Staten guarded by White. Drives, kicks, Devin Williams. Devin Williams has keyed the first half. Onslaught by West Virginia. 18 for Devin Williams. The most in a Big 12 game, and it all comes in the first half against the Jayhawks. Wiggins fouled. Bob Huggins irate. Wiggins fouled with 1.8 double bonus. He'll have 2 shots.
Did a good job of coming up on Wiggins and forcing him to his left hand. He gets into the spin, and right now that is just a bailout. That is a flat walk. And I don't know where you get a foul from that.
And it's the second on Henderson.
That's just an out-of-control player driving into the middle of the lane, and good defense and a bailout call.
Wiggins gets them both. He has 17, but Kansas only 1 field goal in the last 6 minutes. The Jayhawks give up 50 to West Virginia in the first half. Devin Williams, 18. Juwan Staten, 14. Aaron Harris, 13. It all spells trouble for Kansas and the chance at a 1 seed. Now we send you back to Kevin Connors for the Mazda Halftime Report.
All right, Carter, thanks very much. Wildly entertaining first half in Morgantown.
It was a 63%. You shoot 63% against anybody. That's usually a November bye game, not against one of the best defensive teams in the Big 12, but they got good shots. They got balance. They forced some turnovers. They played with a lot of energy. They did things on both ends of the floor to be successful. West Virginia had a pop in their step and kept Kansas really off balance all afternoon in the first half.
Now, the turnover numbers for Kansas aren't terrible, just 8, but they have been costly turnovers.
They have. You know, Andrew Wiggins, give him credit. He's been aggressive because he sees that they need him offensively to do things, because West Virginia has got out on the perimeter and pushed up on the guards. Tharp and Selden really haven't done much, but the turnovers have been costly, and you have to attack from the wing, not the middle. But offensively, West Virginia has been almost perfect. Juwan Staten, Aaron Harris, and Devin Williams have been the big 3 for West Virginia. And Williams has had a full, complete game already in 20 minutes. And they've got to do a much better job of just not only playing him around the basket, but they've let him loose on the baseline for wide-open jumpers as well.
3 scores in double digits for West Virginia, 18 from Devin Williams. That's the most he's scored in a Big 12 game, and it comes in a half. And 15 seconds into the second half, Wayne Selden Jr. picks up his 3rd personal foul.
Bob Huggins might have got that call on the way to the locker room before halftime. He was upset on that Andrew Wiggins call, but West Virginia again aggressive.
Nathan Adrian follows his own miss, but can't get the 2. Tarek Black, strong outlet pass to Selden. So Selden stays out there with 3. Beats Perry Ellis. Remy Debo for the board.
Perry Ellis has to finish that. He shot it from his waist. He's got to gather himself, get up on the rim.
Staten finds Williams. 20 in the game for Devin Williams, a freshman from Cincinnati. That ties his career high, which he had against Purdue back in December.
Tarek Black just has been doing a decent job, but he just turned his head, and Williams found that angle to the rim.
Andrew Wiggins misses his first look. Williams for the board. Staten cut off by Selden. Remy Debo. Williams has the offensive board. Back out to Staten.
Right now, Devin Williams is just kicking the tail of Kansas frontline guys. He's just aggressive, and they're watching.
Harris. Aaron Harris hits his first three in the second half, and already a timeout by Bill Self. West Virginia by 17 on the Jayhawks.
Well, Devin Williams came to play today. He said, I want some recognition as one of the best freshmen in this conference because I'm going to get up on the rim, and Aaron Harris coming off the screen with the Rainmaker. Deadly for the Mountaineers.
Nets Heat at 7.
Bill Self and the Jayhawks here in West Virginia down by 17. And we've seen it elsewhere in college basketball throughout the year. BC and Georgia Tech over Syracuse, Wake over Duke. Even in the SEC with Kentucky losing to South Carolina, but has not really happened to the blue blood in the Big 12. The Kansas Jayhawks losing to one of the teams at the bottom of the standings. Hasn't happened this year.
Well, first of all, I think that West Virginia clearly is better than the teams that you just mentioned. They're not a bottom feeder. They may be towards the bottom of this league, but they've got a big win over Iowa State in this building. They beat Oklahoma. They've won on the road at Baylor. I mean, this team clearly has shown capability as they continue to do this afternoon.
Remy Debo makes it a 20-point West Virginia lead on the Jayhawks.
Going back to your previous point, I mean, West, when you start with Jawan State, then you've got something to build on, and then he makes everybody better. And then things start clicking. You got a guy like Harris, who's a proven scorer, 18 a game, and then Williams has the game he has, and this building is awful hard to win in, and you've got a Hall of Fame coach on the sideline. You add all of that up, and these things can happen, especially in a great league. And they've already proven that they can beat some really good teams in this conference.
So this one isn't like Kansas at TCU last year.
Oh, no.
Which,
no.
Yeah, Bill Self with the Topeka YMCA.
I mean, this is a team that's 8-9 in the league, and they've spun the wrong way a little bit lately because of the schedule and because Henderson has been out with the injury. But really nobody, if Henderson gets himself healthy, you're not going to want to play this team in Kansas City next weekend because of state number one, and then if Williams parlays this into more confidence moving forward, they're going to be really tough because today they're playing good defense, which they haven't done consistently throughout the league. You know, when you look at their field goal percentage at 48, that doesn't get you a lot of wins or consistent play. But today, their offense has been special, but their defense has been just as good.
Now, this is the first of two likely meetings between Kansas and West Virginia, the second one of the Big 12 tournament next weekend in Kansas City. So if West Virginia closes out Kansas with a win today, and let's just say West Virginia beats Kansas again in the Big 12 tournament, is there a chance the Mountaineers at large?
Well, there's absolutely a chance, and you know, I defer to Joey Brackets on this type of thing at the end of the year. I don't know how you distinguish about 12 of these teams that are right on the bubble, but West Virginia, again, as we talked about, you know, if you get to 500 in this league, that's pretty darn good. And they've got some quality wins, and if this is a win today, another feather in their cap.
Remy Debo off the inbound. Back-to-back threes from Remy Debo. And another Kansas timeout. With 17 minutes, 15 seconds left in Morgantown, Kansas is out of timeouts. Saturday of the regular season with Oklahoma State, Iowa State to follow. The Cowboys have won 4 straight. Missouri, Tennessee, the Tigers likely need a win in Knoxville to stay on the bubble. And then North Carolina versus Duke, 9 o'clock Eastern Time on ESPN.
Well, Bill Self, give him all the credit in the world. He's not taking it. He's not going to just sit there and take it. He's going to bring those guys over and let them know what he thinks. Except that will be TV timeouts only unless Bob Huggins calls one. And you know, sometimes desperate men do desperate things, and he's got his team playing with desperation today. West Virginia, a team looking like, listen, we can win a few and get right back on that bubble.
Harris. Tim told us before the game, Kansas needs to stop Aaron Harris. Instead, it's 19 for Harris. Wiggins ends that 14-1 West Virginia run.
Well, when I asked Bob Huggins before the game about Aaron Harris and his performance in the Oklahoma game, he kind of gave me that old friendly growl that he does when he's not happy about a player's performance. And he said, listen, we run a lot of stuff for him. He's got to execute better. His timing has to be better. His focus has to be better. His maturity on what we're doing for him. And today it's been A++. Message delivered from the big guy. Usually Hugs gets his message across to you. He doesn't wait to get to practice the next day. It's usually on the plane ride back from Norman to Morgantown, and I'm sure it was discussed thoroughly to Aaron Harris about cutting, moving hard, and being ready to play, and today he has been.
Frank and direct, would you say?
A nice way to put it, yes.
Aaron Harris had a season low 5 points in that Oklahoma game, already 19 today for the sophomore from Indianapolis. Of course, we mentioned about senior day without any seniors. That means everybody's back for the Mountaineers, including Aaron Harris, who's just a sophomore. Black picks up a foul on Staten, so that's finally the third foul on Tarik Black. So entering the day, the 1 seeds, Kansas, the 4th number 1 seed on the S curve, which means Duke would be the 8th spot on that S curve as a 2 seed.
Well, you'd have to think Villanova, with the only 3 losses and a win over Kansas early in the season, would be very in play. They've been kind of quietly done their thing all season long, but they're going to have an issue to run to get a number 1 seed, I'm sure, or be in the discussion, I'm sure.
Oh, West Virginia in a surprising start.
They don't have a lot of inside players, but they still have to attack and try to get to the rim. At the end of the first Carolina game, they were only perimeter, and that's how Carolina ran them out of the building in the last 10 minutes.
Carter Blackburn, Tim Wells from Morgantown, West Virginia. It has been all Mountaineers from the get-go on Kansas. Staten, hard to the rim, draws a foul with 6 seconds on the shot clock.
Juwan Staten had his best. He looks like he's just simply taking the ball. He's going to reverse it to the other side of the floor, and then, oh, you get leaning one way, boom, right to the rim.
Juwan Staten at the free throw line for the
Fearless
Mountaineers.
player.
2 shots.
Banged up a little bit. The West Virginia coaches talked about it, saying, listen, he's gone through just about everything this year. He plays every minute almost of every game, and he just gets to the free throw line and takes on anything we give to him. And the next day, he's back in the gym. He's back in the film room just wanting to get better.
Staten with now 14 or more in 23 straight games. He's second in the Big 12 in scoring. And a Bob Cousy Award finalist. That goes to the nation's top point guard.
Switching on the perimeter was giving Kansas some issues. That getting into the lane, much activity, except when Wiggins attacks from the wing, and he needs to attack from the wing and not from the top.
23 of Kansas' 44 points from Andrew Wiggins. And again, Joel Embiid back in Lawrence. Didn't make the trip. Reevaluation tomorrow on the back with a 7-footer from Cameroon to see whether he will be able to rejoin Kansas during the Big 12 tournament. That's not a given. With obviously the NCAA tournament looming. Harris misses, Williams another rebound. That's 8 rebounds to go along with 20 points, but Williams turns it over.
Andrew Wiggins is doing a better job here in the second half of moving without the ball and then getting a little bit of space. That's his move. He comes to the right and he likes to spin back to his left, and then he goes right into his shot. That's when the help has to come, when he goes into his spin.
Frankham misses the three. There's Wiggins for the offensive board and stick back. Andrew Wiggins is trying to keep Kansas in this game almost single-handedly. 25 now for Wiggins.
He's playing with the most energy. We all know he has the most talent, but they need more energy from Black and Ellis and Tharp. Create some easy baskets, maybe get up into West Virginia and try to get back in this game a little quickly with some turnovers into transition.
Wiggins has gone over 500 points now in his freshman year. Staten takes it at Black. Perry Ellis there for the board, and a reach-in foul called on Nathan Adrian.
West Virginia foul called number 11, Nathan Adrian. His fourth, team foul, number
4 fouls on Adrian.
Checking in for Kansas, Frank Mason.
The amazing thing about Jawan Staten is just the degree of difficulties of some of his shots in the lane, the spinning and taking on the bigs, and almost 50% from the floor was almost unheard of from a guy his size. But again, it goes to his fearlessness and his just uncanny ability to find that little sliver of opening in the lane.
Ellis, will they count the bucket? There's a foul, and the bucket counts. Foul on Debo.
Perry Ellis kind of drifts in and out of games, and when he wants to be focused, has this ability, just offensively, just gets a little bit of space. He's got a nice touch in the middle of the lane, shoot the ball from the high post. But sometimes he just floats and watches the play. And especially with Joel Embiid not here, he needs to be more aggressive as an offensive player.
14 in the game now for Perry Ellis.
Hey, Bill Self tried everything. He's used all of his timeouts. He's used his whole bench. 12 players in the first half. He's looking for an answer, and Perry Ellis can give him one if he's aggressive.
Here's Staten around the screen. Brown for three. And a rebound from Noreen. Second chance and an opportunity for West Virginia to run some clock.
Maybe that's why Frank Mason only played 3 minutes in the first half. He's kind of watching the play as well.
Well, one way or another, Bill Self will have an opportunity to regain his team's attention. Bob Huggins wants a timeout at 12:52.
Today, it's about execution, and they had a very good game plan early. They attacked in the lane. They went into Devin Williams. They knew that Embiid was not here, so they said, we're going to challenge you first in the lane and see if you resist. Then we're going to attack from the perimeter.
West Virginia has never beaten Kansas. This is just the 4th meeting, all in the Big 12 last 2 years. Harris and one. Whatever message was delivered coming out of Norman, I think was received by Aaron Harris.
Well, almost half of Aaron Harris's made field goals are from beyond the three-point line, but they're showing that ability to change directions. He's been working with Jawan Staten. They've been playing a little one-on-one after practice because that was a little Staten-like.
Sophomore from Indianapolis is Lawrence North High School, same high school that produced Eric Montross, Greg Oden, Mike Conley Jr., and now Aaron Harris. Mason has a three behind the screen.
West Virginia kind of backed up on Frank Mason. He's not a great three-point shooter, but they'll take anything they can get, but it's got to start on this end of the floor if Kansas is going to try to creep back into this.
Williams will check back in for West Virginia next chance. Onto the post for Terry Henderson, playing for the first time since February 15th. 7 to shoot. Harris guarded by Ellis, blocked by Ellis. Wiggins saves it. Shot, reset of the shot clock. Wiggins ends up with it again. In transition, Wiggins is fouled. West Virginia 11:46 away from a huge upset of Kansas.
Two truck guys. The truck.
After our game in Morgantown, guys.
Evan Edgin may be the Big 12 Player of the Year. We will see. That's announced tomorrow on Twitter, by the way, via the Big 12 Conference. Here it's West Virginia with a 17-point edge on Kansas. Andrew Wiggins headed to the free throw line.
Andrew Wiggins.
Iowa State, Oklahoma State, 2 of the 7 projected teams into the NCAA tournament out of the Big 12, which means 7 out of 10, 70%. That is a higher percentage than the record 11 out of 16 that the Big East got in 2011. And West Virginia, an outside chance at being the 8th team. Obviously, if they win the Big 12 tournament, then they're headed to the NCAA tournament as well. But the Mountaineers, after the slow stretch where they have only 1 win since Valentine's Day, that was here at home over TCU on March 1st. That coincides with Terry Henderson's absence in the lineup. Henderson's back on the floor. He has it now. And West Virginia trying to close strong. Williams headed to the free throw line.
Well, the revolving door will continue for Kansas. And Bill Self just searching for anyone to be consistent on the defensive end. And it looked like they had a few good possessions in a row. And then again, Williams not blocked out or driven out properly. And not a lot of guys in West Virginia is going to go get the ball on the offensive glass, especially with Bob Huggins playing 3 guards. But you've got to go find Williams. There's only one of them out there. Kansas has to do a better job of maybe ganging up on him, putting 2 guys on him when a shot goes up.
Tariq Black gets his 4th. So the graduate transfer from Memphis is headed back to the Kansas bench.
And he's had issues with that all season long, just kind of coming in and out of games with careless fouling. And we really need him today to play against Williams.
Black had 2 fouls 4 minutes into the game. Frankamp misses. Ellis tap out. Scooped up by Gary Brown in West Virginia.
Frankamp's game is from the 3-point line, but today he's been forced to do a little bit more than probably he needs to. And Wayne Selden on the bench. And again, Bill Self just looking for anything offensively, to any sort of rhythm.
Seven to shoot. Staten on the wing. Gets a screen from Williams. 2 to shoot. Over Traylor. Staten buries it with the 6'8" Traylor hand in his face at the end of the shot clock.
Backed him up, got him off balance. Said, here we go, I'm going to serve you my best.
The lead back to 20 for the Mountaineers. There's Frankamp from 3. Brown pulls it. West Virginia on the run again. Henderson finishes off a great look from Gary Brown.
I can't tell you how tough a play that was, Gary Brown. That had to be absolutely a perfect pass to be delivered, and it was.
Mason bumped by Williams.
Sometimes everything just goes right on a special Saturday. Gary Brown with his head up, looking for the flying Henderson, who's happy just to be back in uniform.
Frank Mason, 2 shots.
Pretty good catch.
Pretty good finish, pretty good delivery, and pretty good win by Terry Henderson for a guy who hasn't practiced or done anything. Hugg said before the game, listen, he hasn't even run up and down the floor. He's been out in practice and just done some half-court stuff. How can he play? But sometimes adrenaline has a special way of pushing you through the ill effects of being out, and Henderson looks pretty good today. He doesn't have that offensive rhythm, but he's doing some other things. And as we discussed in the first half, just sometimes his presence on the floor gives you an uplift.
Landon Lucas checks into the game for Kansas and promptly gets his 3rd personal foul. Selden comes back in for the Jayhawks as well. He has 4 fouls. That was loose ball. And now both teams in the bonus. So Brandon Watkins to the free throw line for one-on-one. I think the good news for Kansas is they already have the Big 12 wrapped up. This does not factor into the Big 12 championship race. That may be the only bright spot for the Jayhawks.
The bad news is that they're giving up 75 points with 9.5 minutes to go. because it's been in a lot of different ways. But you can point to Joel Embiid not being on the floor, but a lot of other guys has to look at the efforts of some of the other players out there on the floor where at times they've been pushed around.
Mason has the second, the freshman from Petersburg, Virginia. Petersburg High School, second only in scoring to Moses Malone. But he doesn't score on this trip to the line. Kansas trying to pick up the defensive pressure in the full court with 9:24 to go.
West Virginia playing with confidence, patience, poise, space in the court. 5 out right now, just trying to attack Kansas, let them make the mistake defensively.
Shot clock inside at 10 again. Staten loses it. Wiggins in the open floor. Andrew Wiggins crosses over, draws a foul. Bob Huggins and the Mountaineer fans did not think so.
Sometimes you get those NBA superstar calls even before you get to the NBA. And Andrew Wiggins gets those once in a while. Here in transition, looked like West Virginia had him contained and corralled, and he just goes up the ladder. Not much there.
Wiggins has gone over 500 points in his freshman year, meaning back-to-back years, Kansas has had a freshman go over 500 points. McLemore did it last year to break Danny Manning's record, and now Wiggins with over 500 in his freshman season, likely his only season as a Jayhawk.
We'll give him credit, though. He's been very aggressive. He sees that they need a lot from him today offensively.
508 points for Wiggins now. Jump ball called, and the possession arrow is going to give it back to Kansas.
Attacking from the weak side. Watkins. With the jump ball, but a lot of body from Traylor. Kansas will get it back.
Still West Virginia by 20. But led by as many as 25 in the game. Selden kick out. Mason short. Staten pushes ahead right at Mason and draws a foul in the floor before the shot. It's on Mason.
The foul is called on number 0.
A running back who sees the goal line. This is Juwan Staten. He is going to get to the rim to make things happen.
Native of Dayton, Ohio, played his first year for the Dayton Flyers when Brian Gregory was the head coach. When Gregory went to Georgia Tech, Juwan Staten transferred to West Virginia and has one more year of eligibility left with the Mountaineers. A scary thought for the rest of the Big 12.
Well, the scary thing is that the unbelievable improvement from last year to now, and one by one, everyone on the West Virginia staff will say it's about him and his ability and willingness just to want to become a great player and every day learn and get better.
19 points, 8 assists in the game for State.
Basket by
Quick
Traylor.
bucket from Jamari Traylor for Kansas.
Staten's going to do his thing every night. You can mark it down, but the key for West Virginia tonight has been Harris and Williams giving them that other lift.
How about the rebound from Gary Brown to keep the ball in West Virginia's hands with 8 minutes to go. Staten off the screen from Noreen. Gets another one from Noreen, 9 to shoot. Gary Brown. This rebound grabbed by Traylor and a foul committed by West Virginia. That sends us to a timeout. 7:35 to go in Morgantown. All Mountaineers. Full moment here in Morgantown, Kevin. The new Mountaineer is Michael Garcia. The musket has been passed from Jonathan Kimball, who served the last 2 years as the Mountaineer, on to Michael Garcia. Congratulations, Michael Garcia. He will be your Mountaineer for 2014-2015. Tim, do you agree with the choice of Michael Garcia?
I didn't understand it. I didn't realize there were term limits here for being the Mountaineer, but
now you learn something new on every trip to Morgantown.
that guy makes all the decisions, and he's not happy with that decision, right? On a little press offense. And West Virginia cannot relax. You have to understand that Andrew Wiggins got a little chip on his shoulder right now, and he can take this game over offensively, so they need to stay solid on both ends of the floor.
Wiggins with a great post-entry pass to Landon Lucas, who has a chance at a three-point play.
Well, this is a very nice look by Wiggins, and this is a set play by Kansas. Spaced out. They like to go high-low, but they don't go into the high post. They throw the pass directly from outside the three-point line, and Gary Brown's got to get up and show a little bit more pressure on Andrew Wiggins to make that pass a little bit more difficult. But nice job by Lucas, pinning his man up, sealing, and great pass to the corner of the rim.
Lucas, the redshirt freshman, went to high school in Portland, Oregon. Grew up in Japan, where his dad Richard played basketball there after a career at Oregon. Kansas 0-3 when being out-rebounded, and they're being out-rebounded and outplayed in every aspect today in Morgantown.
Almost +9 on the season in Big 12 play, and West Virginia is -3, so that's...
Technical foul on Bob Huggins.
Just shows you the energy.
Kansas foul called on number 33, Landon Lucas. His fourth, team foul number 10.
Mark Whitehead calls the technical foul on the West Virginia bench.
Technical foul has been called on the West Virginia bench.
It is on the bench, maybe not on Bob Huggins, but it's a technical foul against West Virginia on the bench.
22, Andrew Wiggins.
Sending Wiggins to the free throw line for the technical foul shots. Well,
there's a lot of candidates over there that have picked up some technicals in their day, and we don't want to point any fingers, but you've got some ex-head coaches that were successful in their own right when they were head coaches, and they get the foul called on State, and I don't know what the issue is.
Yeah, again, the foul was on
Juwan Staten, free throw line.
Landon Lucas,
Virginia,
so
here.
that sends Staten to the free throw line after the technicals are assessed. But still,
sometimes you want that foul called about a split second earlier than the referee sees it, and if you start barking at them, sometimes they've had enough. Big guy says, usually I like to get the technicals.
3 20-plus point scorers in the game for West Virginia. And Staten gets the roll. So even after the technical, it is still West Virginia by 15, less than 7 minutes to go. West Virginia trying for its first win over Kansas. Bob Huggins trying for his first win over Bill Self. A blocking foul is called on Noreen backing up.
West Virginia foul called number 34, Kevin Noreen, his third.
Well, this is an absolute right now. Kansas, every possession, they need to put the ball in Andrew Wiggins' hands, because West Virginia has not shown that they can consistently defend him, but at times Kansas just doesn't go to him like he's a big-time player, and that's Frank Mason and something they need to understand that this is a special offensive threat. He's got 30 points right now, so clearly keep going to the well, because this game is a long way from being over, because Wiggins is being super aggressive.
Wiggins 31. That's a new career high for the freshman for Kansas. And the Jayhawks picking up the defensive intensity. A timeout by West Virginia at the 6:52 mark as Wiggins tries to lead a comeback against the hostile West Virginia fans here in Morgantown. Saturday primetime presented by DirecTV, 6 o'clock Eastern time. It's Indiana versus Michigan in the Big Ten, and then North Carolina Duke, 9 o'clock Eastern time from Cameron Indoor. If you have Saturday night plans, also available on the Watch ESPN app. Those ACC standings actually tell you that Syracuse still has the inside track for the 2 seed in the ACC tournament. Syracuse at Florida State tomorrow, a win for the Orange in Tallahassee. They're actually the 2 seed in the ACC. 10 minutes away from tip-off between Oklahoma State and Iowa State. What are you looking for between Oklahoma State and Iowa State, Tim?
Well, Iowa State's lost 2 in a row. They've got to right the ship, but they're a different team in Hilton Coliseum. Their offense just is at a new high level, but coming off that triple overtime win over in Stillwater, it should be a special high-scoring event.
Carter Blackburn, Tim Welsh from a sold-out WVU Coliseum. West Virginia's led by as many as 25. State misses, Williams misses. Andrew Wiggins on the run. Frank Mason back to Wiggins. Andrew Wiggins is trying to lead Kansas back from 25 down on the road. It's a 16-3 run. Kansas has cut it to 10. Wiggins with another steal. Wiggins misses on this trip.
It looked like Wiggins was fouled. It was a great steal on the wing. He's got to learn to use that left hand, though, going to the rim. Shield the ball, and then finish with the left.
Wiggins in fouls on the defensive end. That's his third. 34 in the game. Selden for 3. Way off. Rebounded by Traylor. Mason. Lucas gets it back to Traylor and a foul called.
Foul is called on Devin Williams, his 4th.
On Devin Williams, that's 4 on Williams.
Well, Kansas, I keep attacking the rim because
Traylor.
really the officials tighten things up here in the last few minutes.
Wiggins sitting, by the way, he picked up his 4th personal foul. There was a discrepancy in the first half. A foul was on Wiggins or not. But Wiggins now has 4, so that's why Wiggins gets the break. Scoreboard showed Wiggins with 3. In fact, Wiggins actually has 4 personal fouls. So that last reach-in costly for Kansas comeback chances. And here comes Andrew Wiggins to sub in at the next opportunity for the Jayhawks.
Well, it's now or never. You can't sit a guy at this point, and Bill Self wanted to give him a little bit of air, a little clear his head, make sure he understands the situation, but back in, and they need to go to him, isolate on the wing.
Staten off the screen to the corner for Adrian. 7 to shoot. Off the screen from Noreen. Here's Staten, kicks to the corner. Brown 3. With Wiggins waiting, Brown knocks down the triple. Is that the dagger?
That's just picture perfect execution.
Offensive foul on Traylor.
Offensive foul, whistle number 31, Jawari Traylor, his 3rd.
That previous offensive set, Carter, and that was a great defensive play by Noreen, taking one in the chest, but the previous possession, West Virginia just milked the clock. They spaced the floor, and again, Kansas getting caught, turning their head in as West Virginia drives into the gap and then kicks the 3-point shooters on the perimeter.
Stoppage. Noreen has blood on his uniform, so he's going to have to check out.
Checking in for Kansas.
When we're done with Kansas and West Virginia, another good one in the Big 12 as Oklahoma State tries to make it 5 straight since Marcus Smart has come back against Iowa State, then Missouri, Tennessee, both teams on the bubble. And then North Carolina Duke as the Blue Devils try to extend their 32-game home winning streak against the rivals from 8 miles away, North Carolina. All coming up after a good start to your college basketball Saturday here in Morgantown.
And Missouri came from the depths of the dead and buried against Texas A&M, bailed out by a foul on a missed free throw. And they got to prove they can win on the road. They lost 4 in a row on the road, and Tennessee was very impressive in their last win over Auburn.
So Noreen tried to switch out jerseys in order to stay in the game. He went to the 41 jersey, but there's still blood on the back. I mean, it's a pretty good gash on Kevin Noreen's back.
Checking in for the Mountaineers.
The junior is
Brandon Watkins.
drawing applause from the student section. And he's going to have to head back and have that tended to before he can actually come back in the game. So 2 jerseys down for Kevin Noreen.
He's a toughness player, a real good inside defender. And you can see his grittiness. I don't care what shirt I have, but you got to clean it up. But here now, again, West Virginia milking the clock. They got everyone outside the 3-point line. And they come up and try to trap Staten. They have to get the ball out of his hands. He'll use the whole clock.
Staten kick out Harris. Past Wiggins. Blocked. Counted. Goaltending call. The goaltend gives Harris 2 more.
West Virginia precision on offense. They know what they're doing, and at the end of the clock, Harris again off the bounce, showing a mix to his game today.
West Virginia by 17. Wiggins another 3.
Wiggins, 3.
West Virginia has to do a better job of denying him the ball. They're not really running anything for him.
Wiggins steals it, dunks it down. That's 39 in the game for Andrew Wiggins. Back to a 12-point edge. Still 3:50 to go. Kansas turns up the defensive intensity.
West Virginia's not running the baseline. They're just standing stationary against this pressure.
Adrian picks up his dribble. Harris there to bail him out. Now finally into the hands of Jawan State. There's a timeout on the next dead ball.
They need to move the defense against this pressure, but now they've got the ball in the hands of the maestro at the top.
Andrew Wiggins is shouldering the load with Joel Embiid back in Lawrence. 39. Staten needs help. Brown. Shot clock violation. It'll be Kansas basketball. The Jayhawks within striking distance because of Andrew Wiggins, the freshman from Ontario. 39 in the game for the Jayhawks.
The length, the athleticism, I'm putting you on my back, but is it enough?
Andrew Wiggins trying to bring Kansas back. Buries the 3 as he falls down. Wiggins has made this a 10-point game. Long 2, foot was on the line. 41 in the game now for Andrew Wiggins. It's a 10-point West Virginia edge. Less than 3 to go. Staten on the baseline. He stepped out. Kansas basketball with 2:46.
Well, West Virginia has the 3 guards in the game, but they're not spacing the floor very well, and Staten gets caught in trouble. Tries to throw it off the defender, but right now, the problem West Virginia has is they've got the 3 guards in the game for their offense, but Jawan Staten is just too small to guard that man.
Wiggins left that one short. Trailer. Tap follow good from Tarek Black. Single digits, 2:32 to go.
West Virginia needs to run the baseline and space the floor and get the ball to Staten moving on the move.
One way or another, we're coming down to a terrific finish in Morgantown. It's either West Virginia's first win over Kansas, travel cold, KU basketball. Can the Jayhawks come back from 25 down in the second half?
Well, again, West Virginia not playing with confidence. They need to get the ball in Jawan Staten's hand, clear the floor, let him make the play, draw the foul. And Gary Brown just lost control of the ball and travel. But here, down on this end of the floor, defensively, the issues have been trying to guard Andrew Wiggins, and they've got Gary Brown on him. He's only 6'1". He's given up 7 inches, so he's on the catch. And now they have Staten on him. He's just on the catch. He's just shooting over the smallest West Virginia guards.
Mason turns it over. taken away by Gary Brown. West Virginia ball, 2:06 to go.
That's just a horrible play by Frank Mason, driving into the middle of the defense before Andrew Wiggins even gets a look on the wing. There was nowhere to go.
Less than 2 minutes. It would be West Virginia's first win over Kansas, Bob Huggins' first win over Bill Self, if the Mountaineers can hang on in the last minute 43. Staten against Mason. Staten loses it. Gathered again by Harris. Travel called. Harris called for a walk. Kansas basketball with 1:37.
That was a good call. West Virginia waited a little bit too long. They need to get into their offense with about 10 seconds to go on the clock to make Kansas work. They're getting a one-on-one situation on the three-point line with under 5 seconds to go, and it's too desperate.
Wiggins has 14 of the last 16 for Kansas. Selden follows his miss. Kick out Mason. Mason hits the three. 5-point game with 1:22. Bill Self used his last timeout with 17 minutes to go in the game. Adrian in the corner finds Williams. Kansas not fouling.
Williams should have taken that ball to the rim. He had a wide open lane to the rim. They've got to go take two. If Kansas gives them two, go get it, because their defense has clogged them up at the end of the clock where they haven't been able to get easy baskets. You can get a free basket, you have to take it.
Bob Huggins uses a timeout with 55 seconds, 14 on the shot clock. West Virginia led this game by 25 points at the 16:42 mark.
Kansas against his pressure.
Oklahoma State, Iowa State is on ESPN Classic now. Follows us when we're done with what could be a classic in Morgantown. West Virginia led by 25. It's now down to 5. There's a foul called on Mason with 2 seconds on the shot clock, and he and Staten have to be separated on the baseline.
Well, that's what Jawan Staten does best. He gets into your body where you're trying to get out of the way, but if he finds any angle or you're off balance defensively because of his quick change of direction and power as a guard, he gets you to commit the foul.
So is that what you're looking more from West Virginia? I mean, attacking?
Yeah, they're not even looking at the basket. They're just kind of playing keep away, and I think they're saying, well, let's give the ball to Jawan and he'll make a play. But they need to keep being aggressive. But now at this point, things change, because they're going to have a 6 or 7 point lead, come down and get a stop. Then they're going to have to play keep away because the shot clock's going to be off.
West Virginia has a 7-point lead. 3 possessions needed. Clock winding to near 40 seconds. Mason finds Wiggins. Andrew Wiggins for 3. Loose ball foul on Kansas. It's on Selden. He's fouled out. And with 34 seconds left at the WVU Coliseum, a celebration has begun in Morgantown.
Well, how fitting, on one of the most important possessions of the game, that Jawan Staten slithers in and completes the big block out that you need to take you over the top.
So Selden fouls out. That's why the 30-second break right now for Kansas. Oklahoma State, Iowa State is already underway. That's on ESPN Classic. Will follow us here on ESPN. And a critical one for the NCAA chances of Missouri and Tennessee. 4 Eastern, Duke, North Carolina from Cameron, 9 o'clock. Carter Blackburn, Tim Welsh from Morgantown, West Virginia. Kansas whittled a 25-point West Virginia lead down to 5. But now the Mountaineers have a chance to ice it, up 7, 34 seconds to go. And Staten headed to the free throw line.
It was amazing. Almost the light flicked on, and the spotlight, the floodlights on Andrew Wiggins. He said, wait a minute. They don't have any answer. I'm just going to keep going at them. But it took a couple possessions where he didn't touch the ball again down the stretch. But give Kansas credit. I mean, Bill Self used all of his timeouts in the first part of the second half. And used his entire bench. They tried a lot of different lineups and schemes, but West Virginia was just too efficient on offense, and then defense. Their defense locked down in the first half when they needed to.
Desperation time for the Jayhawks. Mason, costly seconds ticking away. Mason launches a three, buries it. 21.5. Kansas doesn't have a timeout. 5-point game. Timeout West Virginia. Last for the Mountaineers at 21.5.
West Virginia, timeout.
Oklahoma State, Iowa State coming up next. It's on ESPN Classic now. That's the final timeout. There are opportunities ahead for the West Virginia Mountaineers.
Well, there's no question about it, especially if they play like this and they have that capability. We've seen it. We've seen it against Iowa State. We've seen it today, but right now down the stretch, they have to show some composure. And Bob Huggins went deep into his playbook, into his favorite press offense. And you see Adrian as the inbounder, which gives them a little bit more vision over the top at 6'9". Brown was having some problems seeing over the top of Kansas pressure.
Neither team has a timeout. Home run ball to Brown. He comes down with it in the front court. And Brown and West Virginia a chance to dribble out. Their first win over Kansas. Wiggins commits the foul. That is the 5th on Andrew Wiggins. He is fouled out with 41 points. What is likely his only trip to Morgantown, West Virginia as a Kansas Jayhawk. A tremendous performance as Wiggins leads the comeback effort, but he's fouled out with a career-high 41.
Well, very good timeout and excellent out-of-bounds play by Bob Huggins coming out of that timeout where they space the court. They put Adrian as the inbounder, a guy who clearly has a good arm and can throw over the top, and he's got the size at 6'9", and they did exactly what we thought they needed to do, is flood the zone ball side and throw over the top, because the team is gambling and desperate. Sometimes they'll push everything to the ball, and that's when you can get something going over the backside.
Harris a chance to make it a 3-possession game. 16.3 left. West Virginia closing in on its first win over the Kansas Jayhawks. Green for 3, knocks it down. Kansas still has a chance with 11.5.
They need to get organized and make sure they get movement and then an outlet to the weak side.
We have a foul called on Brandon Green at 11.5. West Virginia back to the free throw line again. Both teams in the double bonus. So 2 shots coming here after the foul on Green before the inbound.
We thought coming in order for West Virginia to have a chance, they're going to have to probably get 85 today because they don't defend. They're not a great defensive team, but 85 wouldn't have been enough because Andrew Wiggins said, I'm going to put you on my back and try to get us over the top. But it was West Virginia's execution in the first half and also Kansas' lack of interior defense that gave West Virginia this most likely W.
Most points allowed by Kansas this year, 92 to West Virginia. Desperation, that's a 3 and it's blocked. Kansas rebound, but Traylor was out of bounds. West Virginia ball with 6.2. The Mountaineers celebrate. West Virginia has its first win over the Kansas Jayhawks. And the Mountaineers storm the court. Despite 41 points from Andrew Wiggins, West Virginia defeats 8th-ranked Kansas. Pretty good way to start the college basketball Saturday. A 92-86 West Virginia win over 8th-ranked Kansas. For Tim Welsh and our entire hard-working ESPN crew, I'm Carter Blackburn.